Would I be the one to flex? Hello, everybody. Are we live? Are we in the live stream? Is that what we is? No, I'm gonna. By the way, I look a little discombobulated right now. Discombobulated. I got stuff everywhere. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Looks like what happened? What happened? You say? Are you subject to a armed robbery? Was that it? They came in and stole all your crystals, Brandon. All your really cool stuff. Did they steal all your Star Wars stuff? No. They steal your coveted bust of Nikola Tesla? No. It's over here. No, but I decided to clean up. You know, sometimes you just got to start with like a fresh slate. That's kind of what you see behind me, guys. I got a couple of things there, but it's not really worth, looking at. So why do you do this? Because you get rid of stuff. By the way, natural light today, the only light we're using. Open up the curtains and go back to seeing people almost drive right through the front of it. That's kind of cool, right? Give me a shout out. Where are you guys from today? Janet, we got to get caught up. You missed a little meeting we had the other night. I don't know if you know this or not, but you signed up for it. Sent you the link. Might have been some technical difficulties, but we'll get you squared away. We won't do the hard press, but we will ask you politely. We hope to see you in the Catskills. By the way, if you guys missed the information session for the foliage retreat, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm already running out of room. We are stacked. We are booked. We got people coming from all points of the world. You like how different people act and react? You like how people you like kind of going into the woods? Do you have a high level of trust? Just saying. They'll never hear you scream. Anyways. Having a good time with it. I'm actually going to bring up my vocal a little bit. Is my vocal a little better? Oh! Hello, Bainbridge. Hello, Danielle. Debbie, good to see you. Jenny. Elizabeth. Caitlin. Caitlin, I think I mentioned that one. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we're kind of rocking and rolling here. I figured I'd come out and do this. I'm in the middle of construction. It is construction season, right? Soon as the weather breaks, it becomes construction season. Well, I'm going to see how this looks here in the natural light. But don't you worry. This is going to get set aside. And by the way, the rest of the space here, oh boy, are you going to love this. You know why? Because this is going to be wired for sound. We're going to go through the whole headboard here thing that I've been playing around with and setting up and doing some recording. Just fell in love with an Irish Spring Boy. Just before the 4th of July. Oh, did I tell you I have a single coming out next week? It's so many things. So many things. It's a fun song. It's a song about life. It is, what is up with this? Can't post to the same destination. Ugh. Technicality. It's kind of a folksy song. It's a song about life and cycles and how you proceed, how you perceive yourself, how you feel your purposes in life, and I've got a cutesy little ditty to it. By the way, it's one of a couple of songs that I'm going to have out. I have another one called These Boys. Guess what that's about? And then another one called 5115. It's kind of an interesting thing. About cycles, it's about life, it's about how we roll. If you like acoustic metal, that's kind of what we're doing here. It's not quite that metal, but it's a departure for me. It's a lot of fun. It's been fun doing it. I still need a little more time, but by Friday I should be pushing it to all the services. Just letting you know. If I can remember the damn words. Anyways. So, what have you been up to? Back on the foliage thing, if you are interested, this is going to be a nice and it's an easy retreat. A lot of people go on these retreats, and it ends up being more like you need a vacation after your vacation, right? Am I right or am I right? I am not a fan of those retreats, just to let you know. Especially when you've done like a lot of high-level travel. You know, you get on a couple of flights, you got to make sure your boarding passes are printed, you got to make sure you do this, that, and the other thing. Well, this retreat is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Listen, those of you that were on the call, you already know this, but you love to hear it again because you've already been thinking about going. You know how I know this? A lot of people signed up already. If you go to the website, you'll see all the pricing and all that other good stuff. And if you wanna sleep indoors, add another $250. But I'm only kidding. It is Columbus Day weekend, and the way I like to run retreats is to actually relax. You cannot find yourself if you're in fight or flight mode. Travel is a fight or flight mode. Being able to get to a destination, fight or flight mode. If your accommodations are kind of weird, or, you know, the food isn't there, or the people are weird, and all that other stuff. Day number 1, we kind of land. We get ourselves a little comfort food. By the way, I can eat vegan. Not on my retreat, but we can eat vegan if you want. Just pick out the meat. That's terrible. Anyways, I digress. But the first night, we're going to have a nice little get-together. And by the way, I'm going to show you how to psychometrize and clear the space. It is new to all of us, and we want to have a good experience. And it is our job, since we have this space for the weekend. Nice little cabin down in the Catskills. We are going to psychometrize it. We are going to grid it. We are going to bless it. So we will get our smudge out. We will get our crystals out. And I will show you how the pros do it, everybody. Oh, it's a lot of fun. There is technique. We don't half-ass it. What are you, nuts? But we do react to the energy when we get there. Saturday. Did I mention that it's a couple of days? Saturday, we're going to go ahead and take a gondola ride up to one of the highest peaks in the Catskills. We're going to look out all over all of the color and all of the whatever. After, of course, a nice drive. And by the way, if you're in the Northeast, what's better than a nice drive through the color? Am I right or am I right? Right? Okay. Then Sunday we're gonna do some forest bathing. Keep your clothes on. This is one of those things that clothing isn't optional. You really should kind of put that up there again. But we're gonna go out into the woods. We're gonna do what's known as a walking meditation. We're gonna have an expert guide with us, and they're gonna tell us all about all of the stuff that's going on there in the trees. We are also going to be connected to spirit. We're gonna drink the tea of the trees. We're going to feel bound and connected. Oh, and it's not over on Monday. Oh, no. On Monday, we're still going to go and adventure. We're going to go take a look at one of the highest falls again in those there mountains. On our way back to wherever it is you need to go. Fly in and out of Albany if you're not local. But if you're local, we'll have a nice meeting place. We'll figure it out. But you're going to come back renewed and refreshed. This is about connection with nature. This is about the reset. This is about the veil is getting thin. Who are you? What are you dealing with? Oh, you know, there's retreats to places like Costa Rica. There's places to play, you know, like Shasta and Sedona. I know. I've been there. I have leg groups. Fantastic people, by the way. All good looking. All fantastic personalities. All doing the light work of God himself. But this trip, well, this one's about you. This one's about you getting the resets. Me sharing the color and the fabulousness that goes on in upstate New York at fall. It is breathtaking. Mary, how are you? Oh, Janet's jumping right in. Janet's just like, I am definitely feeling this right now. Capricorn rising, North Node, Chiron. Ooh, the sun is in Saturday. Sorry I missed the meeting. Oh, Janet, I wasn't yelling at you. I just want to make sure you're included. Gigi, good to see you. Yes, Elizabeth. Casey, good to see you as well. Amanda, good to see you. Sue, Rita, fantastic. Oh my gosh. Rita, Remsen Street Cahoes? How far away were you from 119 Remsen Street? And if you know what that is, I'm going to double down on it. Melanie, good to see you. Tina, how are you? It's going to be Columbus Day weekend. You can see some of the details and whatever on the website, tbrownerruss.com. I just saw like 5 of you jump on. Thank you very much. Oh, wait, and while you're at this, if you haven't signed up for the email list, hey, Judy, how are you? Patty, good to see you. If you haven't signed up for the email, I'm going to do another special. I can't quite do the name your own price thing. You guys can understand that, right? But, you know, July 1st is on Monday. And you know what? We're halfway there. Whoa, we're halfway there. And that's why the code is going to make you laugh. So sign up for the email. And go ahead, make sure you get that email. Check your email. It's going to go out at like 8 a.m.-ish on Monday morning. And it's going to give you an opportunity to get another discount for a reading. There are very specific times that I'm available the rest of the year. It's just the way it is. I am booked. If you hadn't heard back from me with a date for a home party, or you're still interested, I've got like 4 or 5 left between here and the end of the summer, literally. Thank you guys for helping me be busy. Thank you for letting me be in my work, in my passions, in my stuff. You are letting me grow. You are letting me take chances and do new things. I will tell you that I'm also going to have another announcement in about 2 weeks about the Oracle deck. It is coming along. You're going to have a chance to meet the artist connected to the pictures that are going to go along with the meditations. You'll have an opportunity to be a part of it, as well as get advanced copies of things and see stuff and get cards and all that stuff. Get the full deck when it comes out, that sort of jazz. But I'm a high value kind of person, so you'll also, if you subscribe to it and jump in, you'll also be receiving all of the meditations that go along with each one of the cards that we're using behind the scenes to create it. I am also going to talk a lot about how AI is the devil. I actually think that AI could single-handedly eliminate the single thing that makes us human. And we have to pay attention to that. Right? Francesca, good to see you. Yes, Mary, very much so. Yeah, Flan, where is that? Where is that? I actually only have one public date. Well, I have 3 public dates out there, actually. I'm going to be down in Cobleskill in August. I'm going to be in Sylvan Beach on a Friday night. I have to change some things for my stay up there, but I will be there on Friday night. Hey, Krista, how are you? And I do have one other thing that I'm talking about. I'm also going to be releasing it's probably not going to happen until the end of July, beginning of August, but I will be releasing what I'm doing in the fall. Thank you very much, Carolina. Thank you very much, theater groups. I am going to be going on a tour that will be supporting local theaters. I think that they have gotten hosed with the pandemic. I think that they were really handed a tough lot with all of that. Oh my gosh, yes! Oh, have Lisa send me a message. I love that house. Sometimes haunted places are awesome! Anyways, it's right on the lake. Like, if it rains too much, everybody's wet, you know what I'm saying? What do you mean you have to change some things? Oh, Gina, I'll still be there, don't you worry. Don't you worry. Music's still in tow. It's all good. But there's just this dynamic of where things are going for me. And this theater tour is really important to me. I am actually going to be filming 2 of them I'm going to be working with the film crew with this. I've always wanted to do a special that will land on Hulu or Amazon or one of them. Like, I'm going to make it, and then I'm going to say, okay, guys, which one do you want it? And then we'll go from there. And then also, I'm going to have some announcements once everything kind of sells out with the foliage, and it will. We are going to talk about, miss you too, Gina. I just miss you all over the place, but you are so in dog puppy love, I think so. Okay, Flynn. I would love that, dear. And sorry I had to move the class this week. Oh, and another thing is, if you're not involved with the Weekly Bee and you want to do a deep dive on like how to work with your intuition, we have a really cool thing going. It's $44 a month, and I know you're like, okay, well, $44. It's $11 a class. Once you sit through a few of these classes, you'll be like, huh, this is cool. $11 a class. $11. Go ahead, match it anywhere. And we talk about the astrology. We take bite sizes with it, and we talk about tarot, bite sizes with it. A couple of cards every week that line up with the calendar and the astrology. And then we have a topic every week, and the topics are all over the place in a good way. It really challenges you. Sometimes we talk about sacred places, sacred geometry. Sometimes we, talk about, building one of your clairs, so you have a deeper understanding about how you work. We just wrapped up some psychometry where we did what I call the envelope class, and then we also did remote viewing. That was fun. We also did the Bob Ross class, which is one of my favorites. And by the way, I can't tell you what that's about. You have to sign up for the class. And then, this is just, can we just have some fun? Like, can we just do this? Yeah, Flynn, I'm so glad when you're able to make it. I'm sorry I had to change it this week. My son graduated from 5th grade. Can I share a story? Can I share a story? Please. Can I have the floor here? Those of you that don't know, I'm an adoptive foster parent. So me being a dad is by choice. 100% choice, right? So I have an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 17-year-old. The 17-year-old was pushed through the system quicker than whatever. I'm trying to keep it clean. Trying to turn into a family show this week. Instagram is watching, so we can have to watch ourselves a little bit. We can't say all the dirty things we used to say. Anyways, so we have, the 12-year-old came 12 years ago, by the way, day after he was born. I'm the only dad he knows. But the 17-year-old, who's 5 years different, he's a senior, had been in 7 homes in 5 years, 4.5 really. And, so they kind of pushed him through the system, and they started him a little bit early. I can't really be upset because I guess they were trying to build in structure for him. But that being said, he could have graduated this year, but I think when we started to put it all into perspective another year, let him cook a little bit longer, you know what I'm saying? Like, give him be a little cuter, He's a good kid. He really is a good kid. He's always behind. He's always behind on stuff. All right, I told you a story to tell you this one. Next year, senior graduation. Hell's bells, here we go. And then 12-year-old graduates 8th grade next year. I'm just going to be in. I'm a blubbering. I cry, and I cry. Anyways, I just love them. The one that graduates from 5th grade, going into, middle school, a week ago, we go to the annual field trip. It's to a local fun park. It's one of the Six Flags. It's Great Escape. And we get there, and we're carrying on. And you got that right, brother. My shelves are clean. Lenny, thank you for following. I'm glad you think so. Ange, good to see you. So we go, and it's, Diane, it's mind-blowing, by the way. Other adoptive parents, thank you so much for coming in. And it's, I have 18 summers. I got 18 summers to do this, right? when they were really young, I was like, oh my God, we're going to go do this. And they were like, Brandon, you can't throw the toddler in the deep end. Like, that's just bad form. Mandated reporters. I learned that word quick. You know, it was just shit like that, right? And I was all kind of gung-ho. And then I kind of got busy, and then I got distracted. And over the last 2 years, I made sure that those distractions moved on. And sometimes you miss some of those distractions, but at the same time, you also know what's right. And the part of it all is that I always appreciated it. Now, pre-pandemic, we could go out of state, we could do this, that, and the other thing. They put in a bunch of rules. So the last like 2, field trips were not as in depth. Like we used to go to Boston, all that other good stuff, which is all right. And then the Great Escape, you're like, oh, okay. You mean the same one that we went to 4 other times? Anyways, I know that landscape like the back of my hand. So we go, and, typical, know the teachers, they know me. They're like, Mr. Russ, you're in charge of this, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like looking around, I'm like, we're in trouble. And, you form these relationships with these teachers, and I know that a lot of people like razz on the education system. I saw nothing but professional teachers through certainly the elementary school. And, Cohoes gets a lot of crap locally. They really have their shit together in those schools. There's mistakes. Things happen. They're human. But I've got to tell you, cover to cover, as an adoptive foster parent, certainly when we were in the foster mode, they were the game changer difference. Not going to lie. It was not going to happen if they didn't have the supports in place the way they did, and they were experienced and they were knowledgeable and they were partners. And so I cannot say enough awesome things about every single one of the teachers that they had. At a minimum, they were professional, but the majority of them went above and beyond. And they didn't mince words. They were kind and caring. They knew when to give a hug, and they knew when to give trophies. Like, bam. They also knew when not to give trophies. Ta-da! That's what made them great. So there it is. So through that whole experience, I'm on a field trip with the 11-year-old. Now, those of you that don't know, is it just us? All right, I'll talk. I have high hopes for this one. The 17-year-old, love him to death. He's going to do something somewhere in the trades, and he's going to be great. Right? He struggles at times. He's not really sure what it is. He's weird. I love him. The 12-year-old folds like a cheap suit at the heat of pressure. He just does. It's just the way he is. I'm like, hey, do you think you could? And then all of a sudden he starts crying. He pulls up lame. It's a problem. Love him. He's my soulmate. Had a past life with him. Read the book. But the 11-year-old, the 11-year-old. The 11-year-old has early retirement written all over him. That's why I call him Meal Ticket. I call him Meal Ticket. You know why? Because he's focused. He knows what he's doing. He gets his work done. It might take him 6 hours, but he's going to get it done. Right? In a shelf. By the way, this is the number of awards my kids won this year. I'm just kidding. That's terrible, Brandon. Actually, they got a couple. It's all good. But the 11-year-old is a meal ticket. Love him to death. He's a cutie pie. And by the way, so I have figured out that he looks a little like a mini Danny Terrio. Just to let you know, good-looking kid. Put on a leisure suit on him. He's doing Dance Fever all night. I'm just saying he's got chops. But I really kind of have, high hopes for him. I'm thinking he's going to be the first one to move out of the house. Not unrealistic. I'm just telling you. Not going to be surprised. But to my surprise, and by the way, 17-year-old dipshittery things. He just does them. He just does them. Right? Can't behave, climbs walls when he shouldn't. Sees what's at the top of the telephone pole. That's that kid. The 12-year-old is too busy making fun of people and trying to make them cry. He's actually hysterical, to be honest with you. But the 11-year-old meal ticket, he's kind, he's courteous, he's thoughtful, he's logical. Got a great sense of humor, gets along with everybody, is kind beyond words. Always quick with a hug. Always quick with a high five. Constantly encouraging people. I'm like, oh, this kid is just, he's going to get high. He's an early draft pick. Just saying. Sometimes it is, nurture over nature. And sure enough, my little heart was broken. Because I turn around and is he not holding the hand of the other girl that I'm chaperoning? You were the chosen one. I'm like, you're going to get distracted now. You're going to squeeze this in. Actually, it was the most innocent, heartwarming thing I've ever freaking seen. And I'm going to share this because it was a moment. All the things are racing through my head, and I'm like, birds and the bees. What have I said? What haven't I said? What are we going to get into that right now? Are we going to talk about luggage and prophylactics? Like, I'm at the Great Escape. I want cotton candy. And this kid's holding hands, and all of a sudden I'm getting thrown into this, and I'm like, holy Jesus H. Here we go. And on top of him predicting when the storm was coming, because there were storms coming through, and he turns around, he goes, we got to go. They're about to shut down the rides. I go, what do you mean? He goes, it's going to rain. By the way, it was cloudy, but it wasn't, I'm like, my phone wasn't going off. I wasn't getting anything. I get in the car. We're pulling out of the parking lot, and the sky's open, and it came down like buckets. He just turned to me, and he goes, maybe you might want to do this, huh? Maybe you might want to listen to me. I said, well, you should get a book and a YouTube channel and travel the world. Anywho. We're driving, and this is how I chose to handle this. I complimented him because what I saw was exactly what I expected. And I let him know that I was proud that he was gentle and courteous and very much part of the experience. I go, this is great. That's when you should be holding hands with her. Grab our hands and go, oh, gosh. Oh, and by the way, the signs were everywhere. Because he had talked about going up on the Skylab. The thing, the little umbrella that goes up and down one side of the park and back again. Your feet dangle, and then you think to yourself, I really hope this has been inspected this year. Shit like that. And when we got there, and by the way, he goes, Dad, you and me, we're going to go on that. We're going to go on that together. It's going to be us. It's going to be the two of us. Let's go, Dad. You and me, we're going on that. I didn't go on it. He went with her instead. I think that's where the hand-holding started. Are you scared? I'll hold your hand. Such a gentleman. Turns out the kid's got game. I don't know. Anyways, I complimented him, and I said, I didn't want to shame him. I didn't want to be like, I saw you hold her hand, you little shithead. Put a glove on it. No, I complimented him. I said, I thought that was very nice. You were expressing your feelings, and she reciprocated. And by the way, later on, she's like, can you quit touching me? Can you quit holding my hand? And he was like, okay. And he didn't pursue it again. He wasn't shamed. She was a kid too. But he respected her. He just said, okay. And he goes, yeah. And I go, listen, you do that and everything will work out. Somebody will like you more, somebody will like you less. But so long as you remember that you have to treat them with kindness, then everything will work out. So I'm sure I left out a lot. I'm sure there's more to talk about. I'm sure that there's going to be things that are going to come up and say, Dad, what does it mean if she is wearing an earring on one side of her nose and it's connected to her other ear, and she's got a tattoo that looks like a firebird with a triangle coming out of its left nostril? And I'm going to say, I'm going to have to Google that because I'm out of the scene. I don't know what that is. But there's a part of this that, holy crap, when you go through life and then you start to decide, like, this is how it's going to look, as a guy, you feel trapped. You feel trapped. As an adult, you feel trapped. You're like, okay, these are the decisions that I made, and I just defined myself. I'm going to be this the rest of my days. And that's what I've struggled with. I've struggled with, is this what I'm going to do and who I'm going to be? I have a book and a YouTube channel. I travel the world. It's a pretty good tagline. Like, I'm doing okay. But it's the obligations. It's the things that get in the way in between. The hassles, the annoyances, and forget about the nonsense of people that don't respect you. Zero tolerance policy with that shit now. But it's a dynamic that I think I was looking for, because when you guys see where I go with the song 5115, you're going to smile. By the way, I'm 51. And when I was 15, I had hair out to here and hair down to there, and I was living on a prayer. There's a blessing when you find your kid holding somebody's hand. Right? I didn't shame him. And go back to when you had your first brush of romance. That person that held your hand, that kiss on the cheek, the whatever. And by the way, I don't know if he snuck a kiss in up on the Skylab. He didn't bring it up, and it's none of my business. But I'm here for when he asks questions. Right? We get... Well, thank you, Francesca. You're hired, by the way. The paperwork's in the mail. You start on Monday. It was a shot in the arm for me. Because what this story... I really realized I'm a good storyteller. The book, YouTube stuff, if you've ever been to any of my shows, I love to tell the story. I love to collect the stories. I love to be able to tell the stories in different ways. See the patterns and kind of what we're dealing with. And 5115 is actually about connecting with your inner child. Connecting with that kid that still just had all that potential. And then you look back, you're like, well, what did I really do? I didn't shame my kid. That's what I did. I had a good time. He had the best day of his life. I mean, listen. By the way, because you guys support this stuff, we got 2 huge buckets of fucking quarters, and we finished Jurassic Park. Okay? The 2 of us are sitting there with the gun. We got strategy. He's talking to me. He's like, get that one. Go there. It's a pterodactyl. It's fun. Then we hit the skee ball. Then we hit the change meters. Then we played the bingo. We did the whatever. Next thing you know, we've got like 1,500 tickets. And then he gets himself a Godzilla. If you saw my post, he did literal. There was a bachelorette party that came in. And my kid, who's innocent as hell, turns to the bachelorette party and goes, do you want to pet my Godzilla? It's like, calm down, Shecky Ross. Calm down. So I'm sitting there, and again, here I am coming off of the fresh conversation about not shaming my kid. A couple of things we're going to have to talk about here, son. First of all, never ask somebody to pet your Godzilla, and I don't care if it is a stuffed animal. Number 2, they're doing their own thing. I'm pretty sure an 11-year-old kid is going to cramp their style. Third of all, don't ask them what they're drinking, and don't hold up your soda and say, I got root beer. They don't... It was so funny, though. It was so funny. He's just a good kid. It's just how it rolls, right? So, so through all of this, I also realized that you just culminate stuff. And that's why there are empty shelves here today. There are empty shelves because I had to start over a little bit. Had to clear some things out. I will reveal, though, what the purpose is going to be. Not only am I going to have different stuff here. Yeah, by the way, the shuffle up and heels, those are fun, right? We'll keep doing that. But turning the entire front room of my space into a studio is going to be a lot of fun. Because we're going to have music nights. I'm going to invite in local, maybe even national musicians that know their stuff. That'll come in and we'll talk the talk and we'll jam the jams. We'll have a good time. This place is getting wired for sound. That's why you got to strip it down to the bottom. That way you can put in the wires so you can't see them on film. Then being able to do this on the regular is fantastic. Being able to have readings and so forth and so on. Now, once upon a time, my structure was very much, I used to teach a lot of classes. And the classes are fun, but I got to tell you, to do full series are really difficult. I do have another series about astrology that I just have to figure out how it all fits together, because I'm passionate about it. It's new material that I've created for me, so I want to get that out there. So, you know, there is that. The tarot thing is it's just such a slow-moving thing that it'll eventually get there. And for me, the part of it is kind of stepping into being 51 and 15 at the same time. I think you guys are going to like this. I am going to announce something, though, on August the 11th. It is a Sunday from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. I will be the entertainment out at the Great Sacandaga Brewery. There are no tickets available. You just need to show up with a lawn chair. Sit down, kick back, relax, have yourself a brewski if that's your vibe. They got a food truck there, but you can bring your own stuff if you want to. They're not uppity like that. You can sit back and relax and have a great time. We're going to have sing-alongs. You're going to hear some of the songs that I've released. You're going to hear things that I haven't even talked about yet. We're going to do the good old-fashioned, here we go. Everybody's going to sing along, and if one more person screams Freebird, oh my God, I will play it. But last but not least, is really about how do we understand who we are? I realized that I needed to be an example to my kids on how to live. Some of it was diet. Some of it was the amount of hours that I work. Some of it was about my own happiness. That's when everything clicked. That's when we started getting good. By the way, shows now off the hook. What a connection. Readings, see you later. Fantastic, another planet. It'll be August the 11th from 3 to 6. Right? Of course it is, Ange. Freebird's your favorite. You guys do know that, like, every musician just rolls their eyes with that, and don't take this the wrong way. It's like, oh, Freebird. But we will play other songs. By the way, I'm going to be down in Cobleskill. I'm also going to be down in Oneonta. I'm going to be out in Oneida. Look at you guys landing on my website. Sylvan Beach is out in Oneida County. Oh, and also our friends over in the Berkshires. I haven't forgotten you either. Guys, there's so much planned, and it's so much fun. The home parties are fantastic. We have a great time. But I know you guys are here for the cards. I know you are. It's okay. But that's your price of admission. So, inadvertently, I don't have any lights out here. Yeah, Ange, of course it is. Hello, Linda. Well, it's funny you should say that. Sunset Beach, huh? Could you come inland a little bit? It'd be so good to see it. It's only been the better part of 40 years. By the way, I think I was 11 when I went to your house, Linda, for a Halloween party that I'll never forget. By the way, I reconnected with somebody that I went to grade school and high school, and it has been the funniest conversations you have ever seen. So if you see us eating tacos and like laughing out loud, that's what's going on. We're just having a good time. We are not making fun of people, not anybody in the room anyways. And it's good for my soul. Surround yourself with people that are good for your soul. Somebody that will get your quirkinesses and let you be a little inappropriate and just let you be you. By the way, isn't it funny when you're slightly inappropriate, you're like, I'm just being me, and you're like, take the unicorn thing off of that. Oh, yeah. So here's the advantage of being a medium and a parent. I kind of know shit happened. Like, I know something's up, right? And by the way, when you develop, you begin to, you know what gets overwhelming to a medium is when you do know too much. Because then you're like, you can't decipher what you should know and what you shouldn't know, right? Like I said, I don't know if he's, if he snuck in a cheek kiss, which I can't imagine it'd be that much more. But you're terrifying me now, Janet. So I think any time that I've ever gotten that, I made a deal with my guides when I was developing. I'm like, just give me the stuff I need. I don't need to know who's hornswoggling who. I don't need to know who's sack tickling who. I don't need to know all those ins and outs. I need to know what makes this reading tick and what value I can bring to the table. So then when it's kind of free form, when I'm not in a reading, so reading is definitely blocked up. That's tight. That's cool. But when, yeah, I know. Linda, I'll tell the story someday. Hey, Emily, how are you? Yeah, so, like in examples like this, I make the deal. Like, this is why I don't know when somebody might pass. It's a weird question when I get it. But I don't know the hour nor the place, and that's by design. That's part of my deal. Now, will I know when somebody is going to pass? Yeah. But it's because I'll need to know it for a purposeful reason. Maybe I'm preparing their loved one to kind of get their act together. Maybe I'm protecting them from something else. And it's okay. It's part of cost of doing business sometimes emotionally. But it's a beautiful thing once you kind of get your arms wrapped out of that. And personally, I don't listen. This is like one of those secrets. I once knew a medium whose spouse was in a relationship in a same-sex situation, and everybody fucking knew it. Everybody knew it. As soon as you met this person, you were like, "Oh, okay, where's the Subaru?" Like, we were ready to go. Like, we were just like, okay. No judgment, but if you guys are cool with it, then here. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. And I was like, oh, well, okay. We might have all kind of known it, but they didn't. And that's kind of the beauty of it, because they needed to go through, that was a carefully placed strategic thing that Spirit gave them that needed to be revealed at the right time. If we were saying it, they weren't listening to it. And they're like, I'm boneheaded, I'm not listening to it. Nope. You weren't ready to accept or see it or whatever. So when the time's right, I will find out that these kids are dastardly in their sleep or whatever they do. But until that time, okay, he's meal ticket. And I think that there's a divineness when you start to accept that, because the biggest fallacy that I've seen in people like developing, maybe myself included, but I think I learned this quick enough. A lot of people confuse mediumship and connection with spirit with power. And we think that, and let's be honest, information is king. We're in the argument of connecting the dots, so we have power and knowledge. I mean, listen, do you know what that trial was about with DJ T? It wasn't about paying hush money or whatever. It was that he manipulated knowledge so you didn't know. Now that you say it like that, all of a sudden you go, oh, why are people upset with the current presidency? Because it's getting manipulated with what's getting released. We didn't like about the pandemic because we weren't getting all the facts. Information will make or break things. How many times have you purchased something and not known all the details? Well, if I knew that, we don't get mad at the situation. We get mad because we didn't know, right? We get mad because and it's a natural interaction. Oh, by the way, I have a book coming out. I mean, come on, guys, I'm busy. And one of the topics in the book is really about understanding when you know it. It's also understanding, like, why are mediums, and by the way, I'm going to lump myself into this statement. Like, we can be train wrecks, like absolute train wrecks, with our health, with our relationships, with our habits, and we'll be like, yeah, all right, Spirit, I'm going to tell you. Listen, Spirit's telling me I got to quit smoking. And then they go outside and they blaze one up. Like, it's like you're almost immune to the mirror that you're given. And you think, oh, well, I have a purpose and I have a job. And then it feels a little like that. And then you start to do things like, feel like it's a job. Like, you get into such a routine that it's there. And that was starting to happen to me, guys. I got to tell you, I mean, I love doing this stuff. Don't get me wrong. But once the stressors start coming in and everything else, and and I'm like, oh, where's my joy? Oh, by the way, the foliage retreat, it's all about joy. It's all about joy. I think you're going to enjoy it. Right? Oh, wow. Francesca, I'd be interested, we can take it offline, but I would be interested to know where that retreat center was. Did it rhyme? Well, actually, it doesn't exist anymore, so I can talk about it. Was it Angel Valley? Because we were hosed a little bit, too, on our experience. I can't believe we're bringing that up. Shout out to alumni! By the way, I'm currently looking at the picture of everybody that was on that retreat that stuck around. Okay, yeah. That also, fair enough. We're not going to say that out loud, so it goes in perpetuity. But you're not the first person to do that. And it's funny because those retreat centers are like, oh yeah, we don't tell you everything. I mean, if anybody's been to Omega, I taught a class down at Omega a couple of years ago, pre-pandemic stuff. And I was affiliated with something. They'd done some work with John Edwards, and he floated my name to another person and all this other stuff. But anyways, I didn't know that everything down there was vegan. The food in previous years, and I know it's gotten better, was absolute horrible. It was the most disgusting stuff I've ever had. Like, it was just slop. It's like, these are the great grains of the 7 seas. And you're like, good, then I'm just going to put it right in the toilet. Go back to your mother. But it was they don't tell you that they're vegan. They force it on you. Like, I felt forced. I felt coerced. If I knew it was a vegan meal coming into it, I would have packed jerky. So that's my point. Like, you can adjust. If somebody is honest with you and says, hey, I have this personality trait. I tend to do this. I tend to get excited whenever I hear that, that U2 is coming out with a new song, or whatever your quirk is. You get excited about something. You're like, oh, that's getting to know somebody, right? But then when they purposely hide it, or they purposely, and the YouTube song is not, U2. Who gets excited about U2 now? I'm just saying. Just saying. If I'm 51, carry the one over the side. I hope he found what he was looking for. But it's a different conversation when you know all the facts. When you're like, oh, and by the way, you have every right to have the negative outcome that they were maybe trying to avoid. If you know that this card, this car that you bought is going to lose its wheels because, oh yeah, the left front tends to fall off, you would make a different choice, right? Because the safety's involved. Like, major things is like a no-brainer. However, if it's something small or something minor or whatever, if you're like, oh, we are going to have cheeseburgers and hot dogs. So we're going to go to the restaurant, we're going to have cheeseburgers and hot dogs. If you got there and they didn't, and they're like, yeah, we believe in the sanctity of life, so we don't have French fries. I'm sorry, what? Yes, we believe in the sanctity of life, and we do not serve French fries here. We do not believe in the torture, and the broiling, and the frying of French fries. Of potatoes. We just don't. As a matter of fact, we don't even like to. As a matter of fact, French fry is actually a derogatory term. However, enjoy your cheeseburger. Would you like American or Swiss? And you go, am I in some sort of Twilight Zone thing here? No. You mean I can't get French fries? Like, that kind of goes hand in hand here. You're a restaurant, right? We are, and we get to make the rules. I understand that, but you didn't tell me the rules. How many times in life did you just not know what the rules were? That's what I'm talking about. And by the way, that's the energy of deception, right? I don't think most people lie or not lie, right? I don't think it's an over-under of the lie. I think it is the over-under of disclosure that we go to. And by the way, accept now that maybe how they tell the story leaves out the parts that aren't flattering. And that's okay. You still deserve the right to be able to control your narrative, right? Think about it this way. Yeah, I can go down the relationship side, but think about it more like in a job interview. Do you remember the time where you lost the client because you're a dipshit? Are we telling the truth here or aren't we? Overall, overarching, your attendance was good. That was really the only mark on your record, so to speak. But do you talk about that? Do you lead with it? Definitely not lead with it. But do you bring it up and just be like, oh yeah, just to let you know, I believe in excellence too, and I wanted to let you know that I really lost a big client. Like, it was my fault. It was my fault. I had no idea that they were allergic to cornmeal. And, well, actually, I did, and I still put it in there because that's what the recipe called for. They're delicious muffins. They put them in there anyways, blew up like a sack of hammers. It was awful. We covered the ambulance ride. We lost the account. It was, and they're okay. They're okay. I mean, they made it through. It was just a little anaphylactic thing. But, I don't follow directions sometimes. I'm a bit of a rebel. Hope you like that. There's a difference between disclosure and lying. And I think that that's part of the conversation of energy, which is where we're at now. It's a problem. It's a problem. I mean, why are we upset with... And by the way, I don't care which side of the aisle you're on. Everybody's pissed. And instead of saying this one's a liar and that one's a liar, the part that you're missing is the lie. We're getting misrepresented. I live in a town, and by the way, this will get shared. Somebody will talk shit about me because I live in a small town, relatively. And we had our council members. By the way, the city is, divided up into 6 council members, different parts of the city. It once had a thriving population of 25,000. Now it's down around 12, and it's mostly in apartments. It's really weird. Anyways, so there's a significant number of people that are in the city, in the town. And there was somebody that had run for the seat, right? Rachel, you know where I'm going on this. Anybody from the city of Cohoes knows exactly where I'm going with this. He was on the ballot. He was the incumbent. There was a group of people that didn't like the incumbent because he voted against a union-run ambulance service. By the way, the guy was in a union. The guy understood full well how unions run. He also didn't like the price tag for the city. He just said, he goes, no, I think we can do better. He said no as a negotiation, not as in like we don't believe in union. He said, no, this is not good for the... Which, by the way, as a representative, that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to look at it and make the decision and put away their bias and go there. So then they drum up another person. They parade him around. He didn't even do any of his own speaking, and he's a firefighter. And that was all that they taught. He's a firefighter. He's been serving the city for years. He's the best thing since sliced bread. Do you have a fire on the city? I guess not. Has your house burned down? No? Then why don't you vote for him? Like none of it made sense, right? Not hardly anything in the public eye, hardly anything in the volunteer realm. I've lived in the city off and on virtually my entire life. I had no idea who this dude was. And then he won. He beat the incumbent, the guy that actually said, well, this is the reason why a stop sign would be good here. By the way, this is part of the reason why it is that we can't industrialize this area, because we're running out of woodlands and we have a lot of deer on the island down here. There are, I mean, it's just one thing after another where he was well versed and he's talking the politics and he's talking the topics and he loses. He loses because a bunch of people paraded him around and said, "Isn't it great that he was a firefighter? Firefighter does not make you a politician. It is a fantastic attribute. Thank you for your service. You're amazing. Amen." But when it comes to the topics and the whatever, he won. And then he went to go take office. And they said, "Okay, all you got to do is just retire from being a firefighter." And he went, "I'm not going to retire." And they said, "Well, you have to actually vote on the budget for the firefighters, so you can't do both. It's kind of in the rules." And then they went, "Well, surely we can just skip the rules." And then the other half of the people said, "No, we're going to stick to the rules." Well, then why doesn't he abstain? Well, so what you're saying is that then an entire district doesn't get to vote on their safety plan? Big problems. So he just said, "Sorry, I don't want the seat." Oh, by the way, he won by 7 votes. By the way, your vote does count. So instead of the next logical thing to do to say, well, since he was illegally running, then it would be the other person, the incumbent, the guy that actually knows his shit, that's been involved and understands it. And you may have difficulties, and you may have conflict with this one. But let's be honest. Let's be honest. Don't you want somebody that challenges the system and the ideas a little bit? That doesn't just follow along party lines and say, "Sure, go ahead." Okay, all right, fine. We'll do another runoff. We'll go ahead and just revote everything, and anybody else that wants to come in. Well, that group of knucklehead goons, and by the way, I have no problem saying this because I think one of them is my neighbor, who, by the way, put up an 8-foot fence while my foot was in a sling and said, "I don't like how you keep your yard, so see you later, bye." I don't care how much of a war hero somebody is. You're an asshole to your neighbors. You're an asshole. Anyway, said it out loud. The part of it, for me, was like, oh, good, this guy can finally run, and, we'll clear the air. It's nonsense. We're delaying it, but whatever. Instead of taking his seat in February, he'll take it in July. So be it. Or retake his seat. By the way, he's been serving the entire time because they've been in nonsense. Oh, they decided to vacate the position. So we haven't had representation. So same group of knuckleheads decides to wheel somebody else out. Somebody that had run before and, whatever, that was something of an early 20s kid who was very attractive, and she knows how to take a selfie. Her qualifications add up quick. And when I went to her website, when I went to her socials, I really saw the value, because I literally, I think, what was the question? Oh, that's right. She says, "Is it hot or is it me?" Which I thought, when you ask depth and breadth of questions like that, with your manicured nails and your hair laying just right, with the proper crop top, of course, and when you ask questions like that, when you're bold enough to ask, "Is it hot or is it just me?" And the amount of knuckle-dragging, inbred answers that I saw on that post alone told me exactly who was going to win the other day. And he won, and she won by 22 votes, 20-something votes. This is the reason why we were screwed in this country. Because Hot Girl Summer just won an election. I didn't find a single thing about any of her policy thoughts. She did not, I'm not even sure where she lives in the district, because it was never really disclosed. Information and shady shit. Listen, the reason why I'm bringing this up is the big stuff is now becoming the small stuff. And the small stuff really counts. Those mini minutes, those those seconds of things, part of the reason why I'm so complimentary to the teachers in the district that I live in is because they pay attention to the small stuff. Hey, your kid is doing this. We usually see other things happen. So we're just giving you a heads up. It's on our radar. We want to put it on yours too. Let's talk about it if it comes up again. That's what I'm used to. I'm used to collaboration. I'm used to smart people talking about smart ideas. So when I see stuff like that, it's horrible. Now put it on a larger scale. And by the way, I don't shame her. I hope she does a great job. But her election was about, do I look good in this? Like, she's an influencer, guys. Like, that's what she does. That's her listed profession. She's an influencer. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to say it this way. As a citizen, I'm ashamed. I'm not going to tell you how to feel if she is in your class of content-driven representation. In other words, if you're a woman, feel free. But if you think that's the way to do it, and you can go back to all the ways of like, well, in order to get ahead, you got to be like this. Well, in order to whatever, you got to be like that. Sometimes you got to play the game, Brandon. Okay. How about we start judging people on the content of their character? That's what I'm doing right now. I am not shaming her for making posts that really don't talk about the politics. I'm not shaming her for thinking that she could attractively be elected in a popularity contest like we're fucking 5. Sorry, was that my outside voice? Because here we are. But I will tell you, every dirty old man had her sign on his lawn. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. Gosh. And I know it matters. You wear the blue suit, Kennedy. That's better looking and appealing than the brown suit, Mr. Nixon. I get it. I understand it. But can't we evolve? Ugh. My mother's godmother was Virginia McDonald. Go ahead, do a little Google search on Virginia McDonald Cohoes. You are going to learn about a woman that led that city. She became mayor because her husband died. Her husband was the mayor. They went away on a ski vacation. Horrible accident. She comes back a widow. The Common Council got together and they said, Jim and Ginny were such a team, we are going to have Ginny be the mayor. She was the first female mayor in the city. She was only the fourth female mayor in the country. And she was unabashedly somebody that looked at equality first. Do you know how I know that? She eliminated every single segregation law in that city. Every one of them. Before she was mayor, a black man or woman, forget about a woman, by the way, the woman thing came a few years after, but a black man could not own a home. You could own a business because you were paying taxes, but you could not own private property. She walked in and said, this law, this law, this law, this law, get rid of them today. Today. And by the way, how about this for a twist? And if she's on here, I'm going to smile and laugh. I ended up on a softball team. Wonderful person. She ends up marrying a black man. Her father worked in Ginny's administration. It was his first job out of college. And he set the tone in his home saying, this is what equality is. And she ends up married to a black Navy officer, by the way. No BS on that team. And she and I reconnected not that long ago, and she's telling me the story, and I'm talking to her father because they had a loss in their family. And he goes, oh yeah, I knew Ginny really well. I worked with her. And we started having the conversation, and I put 2 and 2 together afterwards. And I'm like, fucking hey, this is my lineage. Like, great shit happens when you set the tone. You might not see it right away, but let me tell you something. Beautiful family. Kick-ass people. Awesome humans. Powerhouse team. Did Ginny have anything to do with it? I don't know. But when she brought him home, her father said, "Hey, how are you doing? Take care of my daughter, and that's all I care about." I'm going to judge you on the content of your character. Anyways, how did we get here? What the hell am I talking about? I guess I'm talking about cleaning the slate. Hope you guys like what I've done with the place. Nothing. So we're going to enjoy some stuff. Are we really going to do a shuffle up and deal? Shuffle up and heal? Let me do this. I'm a little concernicus about the lights. Because as you guys know, those of you that like added in earlier kind of saw. Let me see what kind of lights we got here. We're gonna move the starlight here. Then what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a couple of reads here, and then we're gonna get out of here with some music. I'm excited for what's coming. And by the way, I'm sorry I've been a little absent and vacant. I am choosing to start to schedule specific things and having a calendar on my YouTubes and my lives. That's very necessary for me to get organized with that. Yeah, Debbie, I like what you're doing. And hey, Debbie and Debbie. Two Debbies at once. Anyways, so yeah, I really like the idea of doing a collective poll here because I think I'm losing the light a little bit. Like, see how it's getting there. And I think it's sometimes when I don't appear for a while, it ends up being like a dashboard confessional. Oh, by the way, really, really funny. Linda, I hope you're still on. One of the greatest nights of my life, quite frankly. I can't believe I'm telling you this story. But it's just us girls, right? Okay, all right, we're good. So I'm going to take it off of full screen, then we'll do a collective poll. Great idea, Debbie. You are the rock star here. Oh my gosh, Emily. Oh, Emily, I had advice for your mom, didn't I? First of all, your grandmother's a fucking riot. Oh my God. Like, pack her in a bag. Okay, Linda, there in a second. It's a Halloween party. I get invited. And I remember my mother going, it's on Halloween. You have to choose. Do you want to go out with everybody or do you want to go to this Halloween party? Well, I end up saying yes. Yeah, Emily, I got your back on that one. Thank you. I'm putting two and two together now. Thank you for saying something. So I'm like, yeah, of course. Well, this Halloween party was in the next town over. So we had to travel there, and of course, that's, that was high ransom to my mom. I had to take out the garbage and clean the cat litter or whatever the hell I had to do. And I go, and I this is at a time where you had the masks. I mean, the suffocation mask. Like, either you're robbing a 7-Eleven or you're Halloween trick-or-treating, right? Like, it was kind of like that. And I show up. As it turns out, so the person who I was there for, Danielle, we'll just say her name again. You guys will stalk her, I guess. And, Danielle and I were friends. She's like, oh, kind of here. For whatever reason, this right here was a hit with all of the high school girls. I'm just saying, it's a curse. So I show up, and I'm like totally like, I'm kind of like half clueless, but half digging in, right? I'm like, okay, all right. And they're like, oh, Brandon, why don't you bob for apples? Do you think you can get some apples? Like, ha, ha, ha. Kind of like, and my little pea brain at the time is kind of like, apples? I'm going to get apples. I'm going to get y'all apples. Like, I'm like, all right, here we go. Fully immersed. I'm suffocating. I'm underwater for 7 minutes, right? Linda, can I get an amen for this? There's water everywhere all over Linda's kitchen. I mean, shit's going down. Do you want an apple? Do you want my teeth marks? Do you want this, that, and the other thing? I'm splish splashing. I'm doing the true Bob for apples, right? I am the Snoopy of the Peanuts gang. Just whatever. Well, I figured out that if I try and bite it on the top of the water, it kind of spins, right? It's a physics lesson too, everybody. So what do? I pin that. I push it down to the bottom. Get myself fully immersed. I'm soaked. Water everywhere. I come up. I look like Bo Derek coming out of the water. You know what I'm saying? There's hair everywhere. There's water all over the place. And I'm like, apple? I did that another 12 times. I'm sure that that kitchen eventually dried. I am quite confident not a single one of those apples that I bobbed for were eaten by another human. I am quite confident, though, that I was soaked from head to toe, and it was kind of cold out. And I think that there was another game or something or another, that we did or whatever. And I remember Danielle sitting there in horror, just horror, looking at me going, Miss, he's my friend. I will never forget that for all my days. So, what else did we learn? I didn't learn it until years later when I watched White Christmas, but you never get in between sisters. Number 2, it was a highlight. It was one of those things that for whatever reason, the memory banks of this brain kept it right there. And I don't remember what my costume was. I really don't. I mean, I was whatever was on clearance the week before at Woolworths. I'm just going to tell you that's what I was. Because my mother, yeah, totally. And Danielle, that's why I pay for tacos, right, kid? And it's, and you only had 2 hair dryers. That is so funny. That is funny. But, think about the one thing where you're like, I don't know if you remember this or not, but here. I have that ability and knack to remember just that really nondescript thing that I'm like, hey, by the way, here. And sometimes it's a curse, but a lot of times it's just the gift that it is. And then people will go, oh, you remember that. Oh, there you go. But sometimes people will come up to me and be like, I don't know if you remember this or not, but you read me. That's a whole other thing because I gotta go there in the moment, so I don't always know. So I can't always remember. Right? All right, guys. I'm gonna do a collective, and then I'm gonna pick up the guitar, and then we'll get the heck out of there. Yell it. It was a great memory. Thank you. And by the way, that's why that's why you did the pain in the ass thing of pulling together, a party and all of that other stuff, because it was important. It was important that your kids had that. It was important that I had it. That's the part of all of this. Like, sometimes we forget, that doing the pain in the ass thing has such rewards. Going on the road and doing this work is hard sometimes. But guess what? When I get there, I'm a cloud 9. Right? I'm pulling these cards. We're digging this. And by the way, I did sneak peek it, but we're going to turn them back down. I dropped one. There you go. Apple? All right. Come on, that was funny. I know how to tell a story, damn it. And I did see all of them. I did see one of them. And by the way, we're going to call these upright. And then how about if I go with this? Give me a number 1 to 10. Give me a number 1 to 5. Somebody give me a number 1 to 5. Go ahead, Linda. Give me a number. Holy shit, all of you. Ooh, ooh. I love it. Your call will be answered in the order in which it was received. I'm going to go right up to the top here. And I'm going to go right. Okay, so we're going to go to who jumped in first. Casey got the 5 in. We're going to go 5 on this one. And then we'll go 4 on the next one. Look at this. So I'm going to go 1, 2. You know what? I'm going to bring up the other camera so there's some legitimacy to this. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go 5 right here. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like I'm dealing poker right there. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the way, I'm multilingual. And then we'll... See how I did that? It's pretty awesome. I'm trying to get my Spanish-speaking people in. And, which, by the way, I have done. I actually did a reading once in French. I was able to understand. I was able to understand enough to kind of present to them. And now we're going to go 4. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to go this one. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, I have unearthed so much stuff. I'm also going to be having a local sale of all of the stuff that I had in the shop forever ago. Because it's got to go. I'm hanging on to it for what? I don't know. That ain't cool. Time to grow your own way. Grow your own way. All right. Did you know that it was not her that wrote the lyrics? It was Lindsay. I think he gets a bad rap. All right, guys. Let's see what we can see here. Where are we? All right. So we're gonna go from this side to this side. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can kind of go like. Gosh, I can't wait till I get my act together. There we go. Okay. All right. Deal with me. Okay, here we go. 7 of Cups coming out. This is choices, everybody. But sometimes it's good choices. Sometimes it's bad choices. Sometimes there's too many choices. The 7 of Cups represents the idea that you're multi-talented. Maybe I'm just talking to myself here. I don't know what that is. But you know what it really is? It's getting yourself to a point where you have a lot of options. But when you need to start to make decisions, let's see what comes up next. Of course. 10 of Wands comes out. Guess what? The old pain in the ass. This is getting ready for the colonoscopy, people, if you know what I'm talking about. The 10 of Wands is really kind of the burden. It's the overdramaticness. It's the too much. It's the whatevers, right? Well, guess what? Where are we going next on this? And by the way, we're going to go right side up. Oh, so we're going to take some of the emotion out of it. This is logical decision making. That's what this is. So the King of Swords is kind of presenting yourself as an authority. So this is an evolutionary thing of saying, what are you actually good at? What do you need to get rid of, Brandon? What do you need to kind of peel back and go in a different direction? What do you need to make a good choice to make these be fruitful? Then you got the 10 of Wands, which is about the burden. You're taking on too much. Don't do too much. Slow down logically. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? Oh, of course. Then the Magician shows up. How cool is that throw? Wow, we're going to go back in slow-mo, that bad boy. The Magician comes out to say every little thing is going to be all right now. And guess what? The Magician shows up because it's kind of like, you got the magic power of the music in me. Because I'm young now. I'm wild. And I'm free. Just to let you know. That's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. How is that a typo, Francesco? What'd you put in? 78? Oh, and by the way, guys, we're going to do a little choose your own adventure with some of the programming around here, because I know some of you really love the astrology. I know some of you really love the cards, and I know a lot of you just love the comedy. But we're going to have a mix of all of them. Going to have a chance to kind of go, this is the stuff we want to lock into, brother. Ta-da. All right. So listen, the way this is laying out here is in like, you got a lot of choices. Don't overburden yourself. Make a logical choice. You got the power. You got the power. Oh, yeah, here we go. 7 of Cups is met with the 7 of Wands. By the way, this right now is being lit by natural light of opening up the bay window right here. That's it. That's all that's coming in. Oh, and the glow of the screen, by the way. 7 of Wands comes up because this is being tried and true. This is kind of being a little battle-hardened. So you've been here before. You're revisiting this. Maybe it's cyclical. Maybe you're like, oh, gosh, every time I have to make a choice, I go bobbing for apples and I ruin somebody's kitchen floor. Am I right or am I right, Ms. Gorka? Right? And then, oh. I can't believe this. So then you get the burden. You get the defining proof of the 10 of Wands, and you're going to cap it with the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups is a party card. It's a, hey, look at this. I want to share it with you. Maybe this is sharing the burden and not doing everything yourself. I'm telling you, I love my work. Well, all right. How about the King of Swords being met with Joachim and Boaz? By the way, this is the High Priestess card. We're not going to play games with this. This is about your destiny. When the High Priestess card comes out, if there was a North or South Node card in tarot, it's the High Priestess. It's about purpose. The B and the J, calm down, everybody. Every single time I turn it up, all of you just go, I know what the BJ is. And I say, Never touched her. It stands for Boaz and Joachim. It is a throwback to the Old Testament. We're talking Ruth here, right? We're talking Ezekiel. We're going old school here. But it's about knowledge. They were the knowledge keepers, right? If you're going to go full cosmic and universal here, we're talking about the Akashics here, kid. Now, the Magician. Oh, and I'm going to go upside down on this one. Yeah, anxiety abound. We're letting it go. Don't worry about a thing. Whatever your choice is, so long as you put the work in to make the choice, it's going to work out okay. How many times have you not made a decision because you're worried about how it's going to come out? Everybody? Yeah, show of hands. Yep, looks like everybody. I'm also going to tell you, builds character. Mistakes help if you're paying attention. Mistakes don't hurt. Not learning mistakes, oh, that hurts. You know, the Knight of Swords comes out here, and listen, it went upside down. Are we 9? Just double checking. It's been a while since I worked with these guys. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I unearthed. Some of you may want to do an intervention, but I'm going to tell you that it's a healthy. It's healthy. I have over 200 decks of tarot and otherwise oracle cards. I do not need an intervention, but I will start to give some of them away. How about that? So then I can get more. Anyway, so taking a look at this is about you letting go of the anxiety, letting go of the burden, sharing the burden, allowing yourself to be like, hey, been there, done that before. I want to be happy. Maybe some of this is you just saying, I want to be happy. Now, let's see what we're using here today. I found this deck, and I just thought they were pretty. I don't know, shit from Shinola. Oh, this is a Zumi. Oh, girl. You have to... She's showing herself. Oh, this is called laughter. I don't want you to do a close-up on this one, but the laughter goes into... Yeah, she's just kind of... She's full on. By the way, thank you. Thank you for your unsolicited text and messages. But could you cover up here? Anyways, laughter. So, listen, this is about making mistakes and just laughing it off. Just being like, all right, I've been here before. I've seen a bunch of choices. Maybe I made the wrong choices. Let's burden ourselves. Let's laugh about it. Let's be human for 20, right? Now, oh, this one, I love this one. Shit. I love my work. So you've got the 10 of Wands, you've got the 9 of Cups. The 10 of Wands is the burden. The 9 of Cups is the joy. And guess what? Maeve shows up and talks about the responsibility. Every job that must be done, there's an element of fun. How we doing, everybody? You don't have to let it be hard. Sharing the burden. Sharing kind of how to do it. You got to reface the kitchen floor after you have a Halloween party? Let's do it together. Right? Oh. Oh, please hold. Yeah, I'm 51. Yeah, that's what I thought it said. This is Aranomi. I get it now. King of Swords. Take the emotion out of it, but you're in charge. Make a mature decision. Then you have the High Priestess being connected with your lineage, with your understanding. Maybe this is breaking family cycles, everybody. By the way, you guys have heard me talk about the band Ghost. They just put out a movie. It is about breaking family cycles Holy bejesus, I can't wait to get a copy of it. And then, what comes out, but, I hope I'm saying this, you're a gnome. Guess what? This is ecstasy. This is sheer joy. Did I not just talk about joy? I love it. I love it. The Magician comes out, the Nine of Swords comes out, and then Nourishment comes out. This is the Corn Woman, which, by the way, I think was a Soundgarden song in the 1990s. Corn Girl. Corn Woman. Come together with your shuck. Save me. Not the music you were looking for. Hey, POH, how are you? Emily, thank you. No, you're a gnome. Breaking the cycle does bring joys, Gigi. I love that. So I'm mixing these star seeds up here, and I feel the need to drop these off too. I'm going to do 3 cards. This will be an overall here. Light body transmission activation. So this is the process we're going through here, right? This is Starseed. I like this one. Starseed Oracle, actually. You got the love. You've got mail. This is Hadarian energy, codependency, and boundaries. Yeah, so this is kind of like a, you got what they need. Right? I got what you need. Boy, this is a good one. This will be a good one. Where are we going to go off next to? Where are we going to do? Oh, I pulled out like 9 of them. Jesus H. By the way, I can say that because I knew this. Here. What was I just talking about? How about the ancestors? I can't make this stuff up. The cards speak. The cards speak. By the way, it comes in a nifty box like this, the Starseed Oracle. Very cool pictures, but I'm going to tell you they're AI generated. Hand-drawn, artist manipulated. AI maybe, definitely AI. One of the things, hey Kathy, how are you? Rita, good to see you. We just talked about the Catskills for a few minutes. All right, what did we learn here today? We learned that you don't. Thank you, Debbie. We have learned that Brandon has no problem throwing things out. See also my background. I threw out a ton of stuff too, guys. A ton. And by the way, most of what I threw out was dated in the business. Okay, Debbie. Well, I'm missing the top part of it. You're having Leo energy. You're making it about you. Which isn't bad. It's about the collective. We learned that there are opportunities in everything that you do. And when you pay attention to the responsibilities, you actually can break the cycles within the moments. And you can change the fate of things. You can change the outcomes of things. You were taught whatever you were taught. I know, Rita. Rita, rewind, see the whole thing. We learned that you reserve the right to change. You reserve the right to collect more information and make a decision based on that. The most horrible thing that we have is when information is kept from us. The facts, the knowledge, the energies. We are more than capable. We just need all the info. You know what else we learned here today? I really can do something different with all of this. So without further ado, wackadoo. I'm just going to make sure that you guys can hear me. We're burning the red light on this one. I don't want to do that. Let's see. Oh, Rachel. It's like you took a class. here through the microphone or the actual radio. You guys could chime in on that and let me know. Can you guys hear the guitar? Let me know. No, it went a little static. Okay, I got it. How about now? Okay. Oh, I know what's going on. How about now? How about now? Because I did a thing. This makes me look like literally I can't see anything. Why I'm blind. Yeah, you might not be able to hear me quite as well. Am I correct in saying that? Hey, Jerry Ann, I just plugged a little show I'm doing out your way. Is it not awesome when the owner of the place that you're going to play shows up on your thing? But not so much on the vocals then. Oh, I know why. I turned the vocals way down. Now you guys can hear me a little bit. So I'm just going to repeat that. Isn't it great when the owner of the Great Sacandaga Brewery shows up on your feed while you're talking about them? So I will see you on August the 11th, Jerry Ann. I should tell you guys how I met Jerry Ann. Proud of you. So true story. And by the way, Danielle and Danielle's mom, I'm sorry, but you're going to hear this story, and Danielle's going to laugh. I told Danielle this story when we all got together. And so we're kids, right? We're like living the Bryan Adams video, right? And sure enough, we are. Yeah, you did. You certainly had an idea, Jerry Ann. So, yes, I'm going to tell the story. So, we're just a bunch of kids, right? And somebody was old enough to buy beer, because that's just kind of what we did. We were talking 1988, 89. And we go, and we literally are in this big giant field. And I come walking up with my red Solo cup, and who's pumping the keg but Jerry Ann McAvoy. I'm just telling you. Years later, she opens up. She marries a wonderful man. Eric's a wonderful man. I'm telling you, he's destined for sainthood. And she is pumping the keg. 20 years later, she's opening up the Great Sacandaga Brewery, and we're all connected. I'm just letting you know. I did not see Danielle there that night, Miss Gorka. I'm pretty sure she was at home reading her books. And Jamaican John, maybe. Maybe. That's what you want. Yes! Yes! Oh my God, now I know what you're talking about. The dude was named Jamaican John. I am not going to play the song that I'm about to release because I'm still in the middle of recording it, but I am going to play some of the instrumental part of it. But I hope you guys like how I tell these stories. Is my sound okay? Good. Thank you guys. All right, here we go. I want to thank you guys for being part of my journey. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for giving me a space to do this. Thanks for sticking around, and I'm sure that a few of you fell asleep, and that's okay. By the way, I actually have a meditation CD that you can find on Amazon, and you can find whole piano tracks and everything else. If you do a deep dive into even the YouTube channel, you can find some meditation stuff. Summer's End is one. There's the Foliage one. There's some guitar work out there. And holding your lighter in the air. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. And thanks for being part of my journey. I appreciate you guys. So much more coming. I just felt like I was like getting detached from all of this, and I miss you. Miss hearing your stories. I miss seeing you guys. Oh my gosh. We'll go ahead and turn that back and go from there. And by the way, I think you know what? I'll share one of the other meditations, one on the YouTube side of it. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube, go out there and get there, and I'll share it, and then you guys will see it on the feed. So hard taps, guys. Thanks so much for being part of my journey. So much coming down the pipe. If you are interested in attending the Foliage retreat, send me an email. I'll send you the conversation part. The kind of kickoff, if you will. All the seats are going to get filled, guys. So if you are interested in it, send it to me and let's go. Linda, great to see you. Great to hear about you. So glad that Danielle and I are connected. We were never not connected. We just didn't have time and made time, and friends show up, and gosh, you mean to tell me I can hang out for a night and talk about all my crazy stories? I haven't even told you guys about. Listen, all right, we're gonna go there. LA's on the list. Don't you worry. By the way, it's a I'll take it offline, Black Belt, but I got to tell you, it's not too far off. LA actually has something else that just keeps coming up, and I have to pay attention to it. So that's how it works. Heart taps, guys. Thanks so much for being part of the journey, and I'll see you guys next time. And remember, keep going. Okay?